I think you ought to know. Do-do-wah-did-up, Men's Radio. Do-do-wah-did-up, the place where men and women really speak. Do-do-wah, do-do-do-wah. Oh man, what a show. Do-do-wah-did-up. It's Men's Radio. Do-do-wah-did-up. This crazy show is on 3 times a week. Do-do-wah, do-do-do-wah. Now Russ and Phil are there to help with all your cares. We laugh, we cry, we talk like grown-ups do. But if you're sad and low, do-do-wah-did-up, it won't cost you no dough. Do-do-wah-did-up. Men's Radio, that's the place for you. With Russ Kane and Phil Dave.
Very happy.
Well, I'm done now. It's time for a lie down.
After that.
Yeah, time for a lie down. Chrissy Richards, warm here. Get out of bed then. Emma Webb, afternoon all. And Facebook user, good Monday, everyone. That's a funny name. What an odd name to be christened with, Facebook user.
Do you know, could you just imagine now, couldn't you? Born in the hospital, the joyous moment of any parent, they're holding the baby in the arms for the first time. So cute. We'll call it Facebook user.
Facebook user, just go. Oh,
no,
is that a boy or a girl? Is that a boy's name or a girl's name? We don't know.
It's non-binary now. Non-binary. You can't decide like that. Now it's just
what a load of old bollocks that is.
Maybe the surname is user and actually Facebook's the first name.
No, it is. Of course, it's Facebook. Facebook is Facebook user. Facebook is the Christian name and user's the surname. Hi everyone, says Paul Claridge. Hi everyone from deepest darkest Croydon. Rather you than me, mate. Anytime. Veronica Curran, afternoon. I've just hit every set of lights on the way home. You should drive more bloody carefully, Veronica. What's the matter with you? You drunk?
Well, either that or I'd suggest that actually you want to choose better things to get your frustrations out on, really. Have you thought about
either she's just rammed every set of light. I think she drives, I'm not sure if it's a Bentley or a Maserati. It's one of the two. And I think she's just rammed it, or she just got out the car at every set of lights and just decked it one, just giving it a wallop.
Ian Foreman says, morning, boys, live on Dulux. And what are you sitting from a tin of paint or something? Or what do you mean?
No, that's Dulux, you fool.
Oh, I see. Oh, Dulux Radio. Oh, yes. So good. Well, good afternoon, Dulux Radio.
So, hello to all the 42,000 of you. What's the matter with you? Got nothing else to do on Dulux Radio. Hello there. And soon, you and I, Philip, will be on Radio Wave. Hey, now listen.
That's a radio.
Very, very. E-Phantom.
Hold the line.
Time. Oh, for Christ's sake. Try it again. E-Phantom.
Crazy name. Crazy gal.
Michael Verby. Morning, boys, from you know where. From the land of the Tujas.
Sunny Spain. Viva España.
Indeed.
Yeah, he's in, where is he? He's in Leeds. No, he's in Spain. It's the weirdest thing. It's the weird Ideal Home Show, not interest. That's still going. Don't care. Veronica Curran, technology had to go. Oh, technology had to go in for fixing. Technology had to go in for fixing was getting home just for you in future. I will be late. She's sulking now. I blame you.
Mind you, having said that, though, I mean, you say that you were getting in just for us, but by the sound of it, you were actually getting in because the technology had to be fixed. I feel like you're fibbing.
When she says technology had to be fixed, what she mean in her car? Was she driving the space shuttle there or something? Chrissy Richards had some happy news. Toby, my great-grandson, blimey, will have a brother or sister next April. My birthday, hopefully. My second great-grandchild. That's something, isn't it? Having a great-grandchild. Mick Jagger's got great-grandchildren. And they're in better form than ever, the Rolling Stones. Ramsey Y. Masalam, afternoon all. Welcome to International Welcome to International Chocolate Cupcake Day. For those feeling blue after the weekend, I've got pictures of Lucretia Millerini wearing leather.
No. Lucrezia Millerini. She's a newsreader.
Is she?
I don't entirely know why, Ramsey, you have pictures of Lucrezia in that state, but all the same.
Veronica Curran had to get her laptop fixed. And Paul Rose says, hello. Let's get on to. Hang on. What is this? Facebook
Who
user.
is Facebook
Who is
user?
the hell's Facebook user?
Right now,
Facebook
look.
user, I have absolutely no idea who you are. So I'm really not keen on reading out your stuff because I don't like. I won't have people hiding.
Hang on a sec, though. I am guessing Facebook user is possibly
Yeah.
something to do with Deluxe Radio. Now, if that is the case, you come up as Facebook user to us.
Yeah.
But I can tell you your most recent message says, "Good morning. Don't judge me, but I am putting together some Christmas shows today. So I've been playing Christmas music all damn morning."
Worse.
Whoever put that, just literally write your name as the comment because we can't see who it is. I've got a rough idea.
And for all our ranting about social media, we don't have anonymous comments. Won't have it. Well, Phil Dave, good to see photos of you giving future radio presenters and producers the benefit of your years of experience. Well, you could be the judge on that.
I don't know about that, but thank you, Paul. I have to tell you,
Paul Rose, Facebook user is to do with
things.
what? One at a time, love. One at a time. After you, go on.
No,
I'm
it's
sure
just
it was great.
that's one of the most terrifying things. Paul was referring to this. I mentioned it on Friday. This little sort of talk I had to give on Saturday. And it was, honest to God, when I was sort of standing in the wings, it was like you say, RK, sort of with the nerves hit you when you're in the wings. And I was just standing there waiting to speak. It was only a room full of about 15 people, but I think that's sort of what made it worse. Because
it's way worse. You can see
because
the whites of their eyes.
Yes, I feel that's the problem. So anyway, but it went reasonably well, thank goodness, and reasonably nice things said afterwards. And more importantly, and this was my biggest concern, is that at least they seemed to show some sort of interest. There was one moment, and I know full well you'd imagine this, but it's Richard Todd. It's Richard Todd who is Facebook user. There you go. Anyway, I did have a rough idea it was. Right, anyway.
Okay.
Right. Now, I was just saying.
Wait a moment. Because there are a few things to say. I'm going to bring you in. It's important. Sue Sleet. Hi, guys. So we're going dashing up back to Scotland. Now, you very sweetly said on my birthday on Friday, I'll come over and have a coffee with you. So you came in from your other place of work, 2 stops away, and we had a very nice coffee. You brought me a wonderful birthday present. It was just lovely to see you. It was great. And even over our al fresco coffee, you were very concerned about this event on Saturday, and I was trying to kind of calm you down and talk you through it.
It is true. I was a bit twitchy, but no, it was like you said. It was sort of the calmest, sort of the darkest hours. It was just before sort of the moment of actually speaking. And once I got into it, it wasn't too bad. But like I said, much to my absolute delight, there were people who were in the room who actually were paying attention. It was one person. I could well imagine that you could envisage this. Richard Todd. Yes, indeed, that is better. Thank you. We can now
know who you are. He's dropped the mask of invisibility to be revealed as Richard Todd.
What's the opposite of incognito? I suppose cognito. No?
Cognito. God,
yeah, I suppose cognito.
Ramsey, I know it's World Menopause Day today. That's why we've got a special GP coming on the show in a little bit to talk about world menopause.
Well, there you go.
Oh, yeah. There you go. Nothing. Yeah. Up here for thinking, down there for dancing.
Well, quite. Anyway, so the point is that sort of as I was speaking and they sort of had got their attention, there was one moment where a couple who was 2 chaps sitting next to each other. Bearing in mind, the oldest individuals in the room would have been 15. The youngest would have been 12. So, of course, I was absolutely flipping bricking.
Sorry, say that again. The youngest was 12?
Apparently. They were aged between 12 to 15. I didn't realize. I thought
they had the 12.
No idea. Anyway, well, the point is that
Was it a creche?
It was one time.
A babysitting thing?
2 of them started talking. No, thankfully, their teacher was in the room at the same time. They were talking all the way through this. They started talking.
Did you not throw a blackboard rubber at them? Make them stand in the corner like my when I was at school.
They started talking at each other, and I suggested to them. I very calmly stopped, and I turned to one of them who started talking, and who was the one who started talking. I just said, "Is there a problem?" And
that's
you could
Dave showing his loving, caring side.
You could well imagine. You could well imagine this, couldn't you? And so he looked rather embarrassed, luckily, and then just said, "No." I said, "Excellent. In which case, I'll continue." And then I carried on.
In which case, shut the F up, as well as said.
Well, look, within reason, but I mean, obviously, I had to bear in mind the age of the classroom. But at the same time, I just thought it was the most obvious way to demonstrate that I had actually schlepped all the way to this place from Hertfordshire.
Where was it? Newcastle. Where'd you go?
It was in Battersea, so it was quite a way.
You came south of the river?
I know.
Jeez.
I just about came out in hives, I tell you.
Wow.
But no, it wasn't too bad, actually. So
I'm shocked.
But anyway,
Paul Rose wants to know, was he giving a speech at a mitzvah? I'm confused. No, Paul is giving a lecture. What about the cupcakes? Leslie Demeser isn't joining us. Wah, 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 wah. I don't know. Chrissy Richards is going back. Anyway, it went well, is the point, right?
Bottom line is, it wasn't as scary as I thought it might be. So there you have it.
So there was the point I really wanted to drill down was there was you catastrophizing about it, and it was all going to be this and it was all going to be that. And I'm going, you're one of the most respected producers. Everyone in the industry knows you, likes you, and admires you.
I don't think everyone.
This is killing me. This is killing me. Shut up. I'm only going to say it once in a lifetime. So you might as well just enjoy it and embrace it, because the rest of the time I hate you. And so you're going to talk about something that you are an absolute expert in. So I don't know why you were so worried about it.
But I don't feel like an expert. You see, this is the whole point.
None of us do, but we are in various fields. Everyone listening and watching is an expert in a specific field.
Maybe, but I still feel like it's a case of it's just me. It's just what I do, and I don't necessarily feel like an expert. I just feel like I'm doing my job. But anyway, Ramsey says twice.
All right, but even so, you're doing your job very well.
Thank you.
Why can't you just accept? Why is it? I'm going to open this up wider. Why is it we can't accept that? But I'm going through a very weird phase myself. Why can't you accept that you do your job very well?
Okay, I tell you why. It's because I think there's something very undignified about self-praise.
It's not boasting. You just got to appreciate the talents that you have, and also appreciate, which is something that you and I go on about, are things that you can't do. This bullshit that Tony Blair started, everybody's a winner, no one's a loser. It's crap. Not everyone's a winner. I can't do athletics. I know I can't do it. There's no point in me pretending I can.
Paul Claridge says, what is your field of expertise?
My field is organizing Eastern European drug gangs to beat you up in East Croydon and push you off a ladder. That is my field of expertise, Paul. I think you'll find I've done a pretty good job.
Merciful heavens. Ramsey says, twice in 1 week for Phil in South London. He met up for us for his birthday. Ramsey, this is going to possibly come as a complete shock, but I'm actually in South London, technically speaking, every day, because that's where my office is based. But it just luckily is only just south of the river. So
the water is lapping against your studio wall.
Well, I'd suggest a quick jog over Tower Bridge will get me straight back up again to the north. So I'd be happy at that.
And safety.
Exactly.
Veronica Cullen says the age group would be secondary education. Media is a big subject. Kids are sent to lecture before applying for subjects at school. Are they? Wow. Yeah, that's what we need. More kids in media, said no one ever.
No. Well, I think one of the things I said there was I was very transparent about it, in the sense that I said, don't think this is a cop-out, because it is not an easy gig at all if you do it properly. And I also said,
this is so true.
Yeah, I said
it's so true. What you're
it's
saying.
not a cop-out. So if anyone thinks that they're going to have a load of fun, you may well do, but you'll do a lot of work as well. And I also said, what do you think happens when you have an industry which is completely and utterly oversaturated with people who are absolutely crying out to get into it? Well, I tell you what happens is not everyone gets a job in the industry. So if you don't work blooming hard, if you don't show that you are the potentially one of the better ones, you are not going to make it. It's as simple as that. And I think that
the choice is endless.
Yeah, well, I think they looked a bit shocked when I said that, because some of them, okay, look, they've obviously had a very early introduction to broadcast and to media and what have you, and they probably just thought, okay, well, I'm not academic, which is fine. I'm not academic either, but they probably thought to themselves, not academic, so maybe this is for me. And I get it. I had exactly the same thoughts. I don't think I really realized or appreciated just how much was involved, if I'm honest, but make no mistake, I love it.
All right. I totally get it, says Paul Rose. I am often told I'm good at what I do, but I still get nervous speaking and question whether or not it was any good. Don't beat yourself up about it, Paul. Really, once it's done, it's done. Nothing wrong with humility, but we also need to accept when people pay us compliments. Yeah, I can't accept a compliment.
I do try.
I can't accept a compliment. I'm notorious.
I get very embarrassed with compliments.
Yeah, because you suck. Luke Newman, currently finding out with first-hand, oh my God, that first-hand experience that COVID is far from over. Just glad that I'm double vaccinated. Having no taste or smell is very weird. Oh my God. Trying mind over matter right now and designing social media posts for Men to Talk and the Mental Health Moles. So long COVID. One of the people I used to work with at Capital was a wonderful lady called Sonia Gallego. Very feisty, actually South American, hilarious, funny as hell. And she's got I saw a post from her over the weekend, which I wrote back to her, and she's got long COVID and she's on a stick. She's about 1 billion years younger than me. I was shocked. And she's had this for, she's now just about able to walk. This is not fun. So you anti-vaxxers, just stay the hell away from me, please. Just stay away. Don't want to know. Anyway, it's good. We're going to be joined soon by Dr. Ella Russell, who is an expert. She's a GP, a real doctor. Oh, yeah, a real doctor. And she's going to talk about menopause because Leslie Demeser was such a hit last week. I thought, and it is World Menopause Day. Go figure. So, and I thought it was appropriate. Sue Sleet, I can accept now how Phil feels. One often can accept that they can do their job well without being able to accept the praise of others without embarrassment. I think it goes back to childhood experiences. Yeah, you never met my dad, did you, Sue? I'll leave it there.
That's actually really weird you say that, Sue, actually, because I think that that's really odd because for so many years, and again, please don't get out the small violins. I'm just stating it how it is. But for so many years as a child, when growing up, sort of working my way through school, I was never really paid compliments because for a number of reasons. I've been very open and honest about sort of what I went through with my peers. They weren't very nice about me. Period. Whatever, it's fine. But then I never really got compliments from the teachers either because I wasn't academic. So I never got told this is excellent, well done. In fact, I can count on my left hand the number of times that was said. And I guess maybe it's just I grew up not being used to compliments. Maybe that's what it is. Who knows?
It's weird. I mean, when I do the one-man show or something like that, and then afterwards people are coming up, I am a very different person off stage than on, obviously. And also, I can't take it. I get really embarrassed. And they're just being very nice and it's lovely. And I'm like blushing, which is weird. But I've seen so many other acts and they feed on this. They're like praise vampires. They need this. And I always think that's desperate. Like I'm the absolute opposite. The absolute opposite. And I'm also my sternest, absolutely my sternest critic. I did a show at Crazy Cox. Everybody else loved it. I personally wasn't happy. Andrew Lucas, hello, gents. Hope you had a great weekend. Well, it was okay. It was okay. I ventured to the very far north of London, Phil Dave. I went to Hatch End.
Oh,
where I live. I drove to Hatch End.
Love Hatch End.
It was quite nice. And I was a bit of a loose end, and I phoned up my lovely cousin Francine, her fabulous husband Michael, and Francine's like my sister, really, although she's my cousin. And we went to some establishment that I had never been to before, but apparently is legendary, called B&K.
Oh my! You've never been to B&K?
No, I've never even heard of B&K.
Wow, my late grandfather, who sadly left us in 1993, used to love B&K.
Well, I can see why. I am still full. It's 12:19 now. I am still full from lunch yesterday. I don't know what they put into that food, but it's like freaking cement.
Although I would
delicious.
B&K and Hatch End is a relative newcomer by comparison. The original B&K is still there. It's in Edgware.
Is it now? Well, no, we sat down. It was absolutely lovely and delicious.
Now I spy in the digital green room looking
we do, but she's looking shocked. But anyway, she's enjoying the digital coffee, freshly brewed.
Excuse me, did you see what I said? Because she's a doctor, I said looking very patient.
You know what we should do?
Oh,
Phil,
yes.
Send out the receptionist. Say, sorry, Dr. Kane and Dr. Dave are running late today. would you mind sitting in reception for another, 50 minutes? That's what we should. We want to make her feel at home.
No, you've got to be nice to Dr. Ella. Don't be mean.
No. I want her to feel at home. I want her to feel like she's in a GP surgery.
Oh, for goodness sake.
Yeah. Sorry, I can only give you 3 minutes, but my leg's dropping off.
No,
come on. This is it. This is the truth.
What's wrong with you?
This is the truth. Everyone's agreeing. Let's bring on with that. Are we? The doctors can see
you now.
Yeah.
Dr. Ella Russell, thank you so much for joining us. I'm so sorry for my learned colleague. How are you?
Hey, I'm really good, thank you. Thanks ever so much for having me on. I feel very privileged to be on a men's radio program talking about the menopause this morning.
Well,
Don't worry, we'll soon change that opinion, but we're very grateful to you all the same. Thank you.
Dr. Russell, just to position this for you, thank you so much for finding the time, especially on World Menopause Day. 50% of our audience are women.
Oh, great. That's good.
It wasn't my intention, but that's the way it's gone, which is fantastic. I'm absolutely thrilled. 50% of men's radio is, and by the way, in case you want to get upset, we do have women's radio station as well, which you would be very welcome to contribute to any time at all.
Oh, brilliant. Thank you.
Now,
how this one works, but
obviously not this one. Now, last week we had a lady called Leslie Demeser, or as we call her, Lovely Demeser, talking about the menopause and all sorts of issues that had never ever crossed our minds at all. And we'd always thought, menopause, you're sitting at dinner and a lady gets out a fan, like you're suddenly in a restoration drama and she's fanning herself, and that's kind of it. It's so much more, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. And I think days like this are really great for sort of highlighting the numerous symptoms that unfortunately perimenopausal and menopausal women can experience as they're going through this transitional time. There are 34 documented symptoms actually associated with perimenopause and the menopause. Yeah, I know. And I think that we know about the really common ones, don't we? So we know about things like the sort of flushes, which about 80% of women will experience at some point. Yeah, you were talking about your fan, but then there are lots of other symptoms as well that we maybe don't recognize particularly well. And this research that I'm on talking about today from the One-to-One Diet Company, who've researched this for us, have basically highlighted the number of women who experience weight gain during the perimenopausal period. Over 60% of women reported that they'd gained weight. And a lot of those women, a significant proportion of women, have actually said that not only did they gain weight, but they've gained well over a stone or a stone and a half during their perimenopausal and menopausal journey. And this is really having a significant effect on women's mental health, their physical and mental well-being, but also their confidence. And I think this is one of we wanted to highlight.
I totally understand that. You see, from a man's point of view, which is something we don't often talk about, men's radio is not the way that people perceive it at all. It's not about cars, football, it's nothing like that. It's all about mental health and well-being.
Yeah.
It can be very perplexing and tricky dealing with the partner, and you think, I don't know who the hell this person is anymore. What the hell's going on? What happened to the woman I've been, with for a billion years?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I must admit, I'm increasingly coming across that. I speak, obviously, I'm a married lady and my husband's expressed the same thing with me, but I'm increasingly coming across men or individuals within workplaces that I work with who are saying, look, we know that there's a menopause. We've read about it. We understand that. We don't really understand the impact it's having on our partners, our wives, our family members, or the people we work with. But actually, we're really interested in knowing more about that. And what we really want to do is be able to support these people around us. But also, we don't want to be putting our foot in it and saying the wrong thing or doing the wrong thing. So I think we really need to be understanding that as a country, that actually men do want to get involved in these discussions. They're just really worried about how to go about that.
It's not just that. I think it's also you don't want to cause offence, and also you don't know the right questions to ask, and you think I don't want to embarrass my partner, but am I helping or am I hindering the whole situation. It's tricky. It's a bit of a minefield. Well, no, it is a minefield.
It is. I mean, it's been a real taboo in this country for so many years, and women have been really reluctant to talk about it for lots of reasons, I think. I think culturally, we don't really talk about sort of mental health issues particularly well. We're getting better at it, but we don't particularly do it. But also, a lot of women who have gone through it, their mum may have said to them, well, I sailed through it and I didn't have any problems, and so we're sort of burdened with that a little bit. But I always say to the ladies that I see, it's really important to talk to your partner, and it's really important to explain how you're feeling. And those really important things that women and men often talk about. If a woman has got a low libido because she's going through this sort of menopause period, for example, then it's important to be honest with your partner and say, it's nothing personal. It's not against you. It's hormonal, and I recognise it may be difficult for you, but let's work together with it and try and sort of improve things like that.
I'm going to ask a really daft question, but that's my job. How long can this menopausal period, no pun intended, last? What time frame are we looking at here?
Well, the average age of the menopause in this country is 51. So what we do is we clarify, just to clarify what the menopause is, we confirm that you're menopausal when you haven't had a period for over a year. But unfortunately, the run up to that time is fraught with all sorts of physical and mental problems for lots of ladies. And that can start as early in 40s, really, early 40s for a lot of ladies.
Well, you mentioned, to my shocked horror, that there's 34 known, remembering you are a GP, so you're not just somebody's just written a book and got it off Wikipedia. 34. What are some of them? Apart from the flushes when your face is sitting there like Niagara Falls and they keep going, I'm so sorry. Yeah, you go, forget it. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, well, I mean, when I'm sort of talking to my ladies, I usually start at the top and work my way down. So people will talk about hair changes, so thinning of the hair. They may talk about sort of dry eyes, where women might notice that they're dizzy or they're unbalanced. They're prone to falling at times. Taste buds can change. So, somebody who's always been a bit of a sweet food kind of person or a chocolate kind of lover might notice that they want crisps, for example, and savoury food. So literally, I start at the top and work my way down. Palpitations are common, joint pains, bowel problems, bladder problems.
Oh,
you
my
name
God.
it. You name it. And I suspect there's probably a lot more that we don't know about as well.
It's a heck of a thing. What's the best thing? Sorry, go on, Phil.
Sorry, I was just going to say, is it irreparable, though? Are we talking about these are changes permanently that someone has to get used to? Or is it just sort of whilst they're, I hate that it sounds so cliche, whilst they're going through said change?
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, basically, the menopause is a natural process that all women will go through. And fundamentally, what happens is women lose their estrogen. So they lose a couple of other hormones like progesterone and testosterone as well. But predominantly, the symptoms come from falling estrogen levels. And unfortunately, the estrogen is made by the ovaries. And when you get to a certain point in your life, your ovaries just stop working, and that is irreversible. We can't change that. So yes, I mean, one of the things that I'm sort of really passionate about is not only raising awareness of the symptoms that women can have while they're actually going through that period, but the long-term health risks associated with estrogen deficiency in women. A lot of women don't know about that. They say to me, oh, I've gone through my menopause and I didn't have any problems. And I say, yes, okay, you might not have had too many symptoms, which is great, and you're really lucky. But actually, ultimately, estrogen deficiency can increase your risk of osteoporosis, so thinning of the bones and fractures. It can increase women's risk of cardiovascular disease, so heart attacks and strokes, dementia, all sorts of things. So there are some really long-term health risks associated with being postmenopausal as well.
One of the most important, it's all been fascinating what you're saying, and it's all important, but one of the most important things, and it was kind of glossed over a little bit, is to try and communicate to your partner that it's not them. Because it is, let's be honest, very easy to think, oh, they've gone off me. I must be doing something wrong. What the hell's going on? They got somebody else. I'm so boring. There's a million things that could go through a guy's head. And
Absolutely.
do you encourage that? As a doctor, do you encourage that? And do women respond to that? I'm very curious about that.
Yeah, I mean, women do respond to that. And, often we will explore relationships and how their symptoms are impacting on relationships. And it's really interesting. I think there's lots of reasons why couples might not talk about these things. So it may be cultural. If you've only been with a partner for a short period of time, you might not want to sort of bring these things up, etc. But I always encourage women to talk to their partners because, it has a huge impact on both parties. And increasingly, I'm starting to recognise that men really need support with this. So actually, a couple of months ago, I actually got my husband to write a blog, an information leaflet for the website, just basically giving a little bit of advice to men about how best to support women when they might be going through the perimenopause and the menopause. And it really started with just remember it's not personal. This is to do with a hormone imbalance. It rarely are those things involved like partners going off the other partner. Although having said that, I have to say that the rate of divorce amongst perimenopausal and menopausal women is one of the highest in the country. So, relationships do suffer.
Because in many cases, they become somebody quite different.
They can do.
I don't know this.
Okay. I mean, they can do, but I think we need to remain really positive, and we need to remember what support is out there. So, some of the research shows that obviously women are really at a low ebb and they're really low in confidence, and they feel physically and mentally very different to the person that they were before. But there is support out there. So that might be support with your partner, your friends, or your family. It may be support in the form of sort of reaching out to the organisation like One-to-One Diet to get some support with weight loss if that's your sort of main issue. And it is a really significant issue for over 60% of women. But then there's people like myself as well who, every day I see women and they feed back to me very kindly that, I've transformed their lives because we've got them on hormone replacement therapy, testosterone therapy, and it revolutionizes women's lives, but couples' lives too.
You mentioned something, and you've mentioned so many very, very interesting things. So I'm so glad you had the time to come and see the film yourself. That sometimes women's tastes change, and they start to eat crisps, which seems diametrically opposed to One-to-One, the company that's you're associated with. How do you then say, look, you're putting on weight, but you're eating crisps? This is not going to work. What's your advice there?
Well, I think the thing to remember is that because of hormonal changes, weight gain can happen in a significant proportion of people, whether they change their diet or not. But I often always say to women, look, a priority really during your perimenopause and your menopausal journey are to really look at your lifestyle. So it's always been quite important to a lot of people, but it becomes really vital to kind of review your lifestyle and your lifestyle choices at this time in your life. So, looking at your diet, making sure your diet is as healthy as it can be, making sure that you're reducing risk factors such as excess alcohol intake, smoking, because those will have a big impact on your long-term health as well as sort of helping manage your symptoms at the moment. But I think we need to review things. We need to review our diet. Are we getting enough calcium and vitamin D into our diet? And are we making the right lifestyle choices? Are we making the right food choices? And getting help and support from a One-to-One or a nutritionalist or a dietitian, that sort of thing, can be really helpful for lots of women.
How do people know when they are okay? I know that sort of people can say they sometimes just know because they feel like they are different. But how does a woman realistically know for sure that the change is about to sort of onset, as it were? They're at the onset of it, because could it just be that sort of sometimes it's mistaken or misunderstood?
Absolutely. Well, I mean, as I said previously, you know, I quite often meet with ladies who haven't recognised that that's what their symptoms are. So I often say to ladies, make sure you do your research, you know, read around the perimenopause and the menopause, be aware of what it is, because even if you haven't got symptoms at the moment, you will get symptoms, or you may get sort of really quite significant symptoms in the future. So raising awareness among women themselves is vital. And then I sort of say to people, so be empowered. So basically, not only do you need to know what your symptoms are, but you need to know how we can help and support, and what options are available to you, so that when you do reach out to a healthcare professional like myself, you know, you've made some informed decisions, or you're able to make some informed decisions based on what you know, but also the support and the advice that the healthcare professionals such as myself might give you.
One of the things, of course, is if you're feeling really cheesed off, you're feeling unfeminine, your love life's gone down the toilet, etc. Comfort eating does seem a very, I can't say it's a good thing to do, Dr. Russell, but I can totally understand it. You think, well, at least I can cheer myself up with whatever, chocolate. I don't know. You pick whatever that you happen to like, cheese boards, I don't know. I get it. You know, I totally get it. Comfort eating is, especially the last 19 months, which has been absolute hell. Comfort eating is often a solution, well, an option, not the solution.
Absolutely. And I mean, I totally understand. You know, I am one of these 61% of women who has gained a significant amount of weight in her perimenopause and menopause. But I think the problem that we often find as well is when people are feeling really pleased off, or they're really struggling with a sort of menopause symptoms. So they're not sleeping, they're tired all the time, their bones are aching, you know, they can't remember things, and they're sort of struggling with work and things. It's difficult to make those right lifestyle choices that we probably know we need to make, but we struggle with. This is why getting the right support, you know, this research shows that a third of women who did reach out and get the help they needed actually found it was really beneficial, and it really helped with things like improving their mental well-being and improving their confidence. So the research is out there that shows that if you get some help and support, you hopefully will feel significantly better.
Quick question from one of our viewer listeners, Melanie Hutchins. Is HRT still the way to go?
Well, I mean, obviously, I am one of the, I am a doctor who is a big advocate of hormone replacement therapy, because not only is it really effective for symptom management, but it's also one of the safest medications around. It's one of the most effective for disease prevention, such as osteoporosis. And there aren't many ladies who can't take hormone replacement therapy if they choose to take it. But there are other options. You don't have to go down hormone replacement therapy if you don't want to. But I think it's really important for women to be aware of what the options are, so that, you know, they can make the right informed decisions for them.
Now, here's a question coming in. Here's a question coming in from Edinburgh. I had to get a blood test done for perimenopause, mainly due to other health problems. Is that a common thing?
Yeah. So, I mean, I quite often speak to ladies who say to me, well, you know, my GP refuses to do a blood test. And I say to them, well, that's usually because, to be honest, we go off, as doctors, we go off the symptoms that a lady is describing. So unless she's sort of under 40, or it might be what we call a premature menopause, which is a whole different kettle of fish in itself and really has some health risks. But we go off what the symptoms that a lady's talking to me about. And like I say, often there's no right or wrong. You know, we can say to ladies, okay, it sounds as though you're perimenopausal. You may want to do some blood tests to make sure that there isn't anything else causing it. So things like an underactive thyroid gland, for example, can sometimes mimic some of the symptoms. But generally speaking, blood tests, in most ladies who are going through this period in their life, they don't really help us. They don't really sort of dictate management options. It's usually what the lady's describing herself.
No, I wasn't kidding when I said 50% of our audience are, in fact, women. Sorry, Phil, I interrupted you, but the questions are coming in thick and fast.
I tell you what it was, sorry. It's just because I want to actually sort of pick up, on something you just said just now, Dr. Ross. When you said just now that HRT is one of the safest ways to go as far as the medication is concerned, does that mean that potentially the other medications that people could take for the menopause might be dangerous somehow?
Well, there are other treatments that we can use. So if a lady can't take hormone replacement therapy, for example, because she's had some underlying medical issues, or she chooses not to after she's been is aware of the pros and cons, then there are other treatments that we can use that will help with things like flushing, for example. So some of the newer sort of antidepressants or some of the other medication that's around at the moment, things like gabapentin and pregabalin, I'm not sure whether you've ever heard of those, but they are really risky medications. They have lots of side effects, and people can become dependent on those medications as well. So what I'm sort of saying really is, there are lots of options, and a healthcare professional really needs to talk to you about the different options that people should take, that you could take. But ultimately, a lot of people say, oh, is HRT safe? It is one of the safest forms of treatment that is available out there. And it's also the most cost effective because it has very few side effects. And it's a really cheap form of treatment for a lot of these symptoms and your long-term health as well.
Look at this coming in. This is from Kimmy Lashmore. Sorry, you're obliterated for a second. Gould. I was diagnosed with early onset of menopause the day before my 40th birthday. Finished 10 years later. After an endless list of symptoms, my doctor was very good with accepting I didn't want medication. I just wanted to know it was normal for the menopause.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I say, this is a completely natural process for most women. That doesn't mean it's not fraught with symptoms and problems and ups and downs, but this is a natural process. And some women choose not to take medication, which is absolutely fine. And we have to respect that. But I wanted to make people aware that if you do choose to take hormone replacement therapy, it's safe, it's very effective, and actually there is no taboo about taking HRT. If it helps your symptoms and it maintains your long-term health, then it's really good for you.
I know how busy you are today with back-to-back interviews, but look, just end with this, and it says, God, no, I'm 60 now and life is great.
Well, that's really good.
Wow, what do you know that we don't know?
What Kimmy hasn't written there is that whether she's actually taking hormone replacement therapy, but take it from somebody who is taking it. It's great. Makes you feel really good.
Dr. Ella Russell, thank you so much. I bet this wasn't what you were expecting, all the ladies coming in with all their questions. Please feel free to come back anytime because you're smashing and you explain things in such a with great clarification, and that's much appreciated. Thank you very, very much indeed.
So thank you.
Oh, thanks a lot. Okay,
have a good day.
Bye.
Now that's a doctor. That's what I call a doctor.
Indeed. Now, I need to explain, by the way, if I seemed at all distracted.
Yeah, what are you doing? I thought you were writing a book or doing your shopping or just
not
got a new girlfriend or what's going on?
No, I'm not writing a book. I'm afraid that I've just had some rather unfortunate news for my family.
No.
I was mildly distracted for that, but fear not. I shall explain to you off air what that is.
I think we can lose the world if you need to go.
No. Honestly,
do you need to go?
No, truly, I don't. Honestly, it's absolutely fine. So, well, it's not great, but it's fine. All good. Anyway,
you've just been to a funeral. Can't be another one. Blimey.
Well, let me put it this way. I won't be going to this one, but it is ultimately what's involved.
Oh, for God's sake.
Anyway.
Now, Andrea, I didn't understand your question, which is why I didn't flash it up with our fabulous doctor there. What about those who are suffering hot flushes at 7? Well, if it's finished by 7, you can have breakfast at 8. And I don't know what you mean. So, Andy, come back and finish it and write it properly. I love this. This is this is from Kimmy. What I can say is that when you get past the menopause, life is fantastic. And then Melanie asked Kimmy, I love this. This is why the show intrigues me so much, the interaction with you guys. Melanie Hutchins says, Kimmy Lashmard used to get hot flushes, Kimmy, kiss. And then Kimmy comes back. Where the hell is she? I've lost it bloody now. Anyway, I've lost it. But she says, no. Christ, no, I'm fabulous. What's this? Veronica says, I was like a pin. I was like a pin cushion due to lots of tests. Only use what the hell's that? Only use the Lady Care Stone.
Great.
To think, God Almighty, I dread to think what the hell that is.
Is that like ritual rock or something like that? It's like the Blarney.
It's a stone there. It's a stone. It's about this big.
There in Scotland, there's some sort of right, and it's not so the Blarney stone. It's the Lady Care stone.
It's the Lady Care stone. You go and you kiss it, and then you always have ladies in your life. That's what the Lady Care stone is.
Oh, apparently, which you wear and supplements evening primrose. Goodness me. I've had osteoporosis from 30s. Wow.
That sucks, Veronica. I'm so sorry. That's bloody awful. That's horrible. And then Melanie's looking forward. She said, brilliant. I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, I know. Aren't we all? Hang on. Lovely Demise has rocked up. Where's she gone here? If he needs to go,
thank you very much.
Let me tell you something, ladies.
I'm being edged out.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is how showbiz works. This is it. Being in showbiz is like being in a school of great white sharks.
It's brutal, I tell you.
Phil has slightly started to bleed, keeping with the menopause theme, and the water. And Leslie Demisa, shut up, Phil. Leslie Demisa has sensed the blood in the water from miles away and is honing in, thinking, Phil can go. I'm here. That's showbiz for you, ladies and gentlemen. In a nutshell.
Emma Webb,
Thanks,
very
Lally.
kind, says, Phil, whatever your news is, we are here for you. You're very, very kind, Emma. It is. You're quite right, as you've probably interpreted from what I've said. It is sad news, but don't you worry about it. It's sort of not completely unexpected, and I am totally fine. I have no right to be otherwise, but thank you for saying
Yes,
so.
you do. You get upset. You're a human. Well, we say you're human. We know you're not. We know that Elon Musk made you. Lady Care Stone, it's a magnetic device. So many gags, and I'm just not going there. Drug-free compliment.
Gracious. Oh, now hang on a second. I have heard
a bloody great magnet shoved down your pants. What's going on here?
I think I have heard about this actually. Don't ask me how, but I think I have heard about it.
Well, I wasn't far wrong. She says it attaches to your knickers, your pair.
I was going to say, I've suddenly remembered. I think it's something that ladies put in a certain location. There you go. You're absolutely there.
What, Hendon?
Yes, let's go with that. Well, I was going to say bushy.
Well, it'd be a bit of a bloody shock, wouldn't it? You know, having a romantic evening, you get back and things are going well, and suddenly you find a bloody great horseshoe magnet where you weren't expecting it. That could be awkward.
Hey, it could be a draw. I mean, imagine trying to explain that one to A&E. Anyway, the truth is, we have a lot of learning to do. And if we laugh, it's out of nerves. You have to know this. It's not because we're trying to be a child. The truth is, we're just not very good with these sorts of things. Okay. I didn't know you were into rock. Anyway.
I'm just thinking of like those Wile E. Coyote things. Acme Magnet Company. Things come flying out your teeth. Can I have me watch back?
Anyway, thank you very much indeed. Enough nonsense. Kimmy Lashmar says, oh dear.
Christ.
Kimmy Lashmar says, no, I didn't, but I suffered mood swings, twitchy legs. I'm not surprised the magnet down there. Hot flushes, sore chest, no sleep, bad skin, hair thinning, being more on than off, irritation. Good Lord. Is this your dating advert, or was this what you went?
This is what she's got on whatever I forgot what it's called.
But if I asked the doctor each time if it was anything else, he said, "Nah, just the menopause. I'm afraid it's important for men's health to know they've not done anything wrong." I mean, I bet you that Russ and I have probably just made a mockery out of a very serious subject.
We don't care. Leslie, we're in trouble now. Ladies probably don't put it down their knickers, but women might. I hate the term ladies. Why?
What's wrong with saying ladies?
Ladies.
It's got multi-purpose use in Scotland. You can either be ladies or laddies.
I Yeah, and don't forget, one of the night a very nice single malt is Laddie's. Laddie, very nice.
Oh, you
One
see.
of George Mickey often has it on the. We may never see George Mickey again, who runs the Soho Whiskey Club. He's gone off to Moscow to be
This
with
is
his girlfriend.
peculiar choice of places to
Well,
go.
that's where she lives, for God's sake.
Oh, well,
We see Melanie Hutchins is with us. Learn something new. I need magnetic knickers.
hopefully he's just rushing over there. Anyway, thank you very much.
Should we do this
Magnet.
again? Magnetic knickers. This is the thing. I think this is another money-making scheme.
Well, I mean, certainly give a whole new expression to the give new meaning to the expression "gone south." But anyway,
Stop it. Kimmy Lashmar, this day highlights the issues surrounding menopause, but helps everyone understand. So thank you. That's okay. People, when I think, well, men's radio, why are you doing that? I think it's because we don't understand. We don't know. We are swimming in totally ignorance. And also, as has been said both by Leslie and by Dr. Ella, that we think as blokes, I'm going to say it, that I'm not going to dance around the language here. We think as blokes we've done something wrong. And we must be. What the hell are we doing wrong? Again, and when you hear that it's part of nature and it's biological, it makes you feel. It makes the relationship can continue. And maybe even grow. You never know. Here comes Leslie Demise. Oh, God. I'm no lady. I'm a woman. Christ, we're getting into Dave Chappelle land here. Come on, Russ. That ladies has a certain value expectation. No, it doesn't. What
Really?
are you talking about? You're the least sensitive person I know, Lally. Why are you doing this nonsense?
I'll bunkum. I don't think it's. I don't have
I
any.
don't agree with that at all.
I accidentally walk into the ladies' room in the toilets. So no, I'm joking. No, seriously. What? But I don't understand that. I've genuinely see nothing wrong with that. There's been, and look, obviously, it's not us to tell you if you to be offended or not be offended. I mean, there's absolutely no reason whatsoever. If you want to be offended by that term, you must do as you wish. But there was an article in the paper today which was suggesting, I think it was in the Telegraph, suggesting that the National Theatre in Scotland is doing a very serious review into the term spooky, because apparently it has racist connotations to it.
Oh, for Christ's sake. Okay. There will be eventually this pendulum will flow the other way. And it's
the problem is it might go
not going to be pretty. It's not going to be pretty.
No, I was going to say that's the problem. I think it's going to go very far the other way, and that's what I'm not looking forward to. But anyway, never mind. Anyway.
Oh, hang on here. Oh, she hasn't finished. God, she's got the bit between her teeth today. Not all about sensitivity. It's like calling all men gentlemen.
Good.
That's all right.
Excellent. You should call all men.
What's wrong with that? Kimmy says, nature stinks. When you suddenly cry or get angry for no reason, it's frightening for everyone. Bloody right. Bloody right. She's back to the form. Pendulum swinging in your knickers. That's not my pendulum, darling. Anyway, here's the thing. Thank you very much. Nature is rough. Nature's like, what the hell? You're trying to mind your own business and just get on with life, and whoa, your emotions suddenly. It's very odd, and it's not just women. I mean, guys do change. Our metabolism changes. We don't go through what you go through. You have a pretty rough deal. Let's not kid ourselves. I think you have a rough deal. I've always thought that. By the way, I'm kind of obsessed with this Dave Chappelle thing. If you haven't seen it, very, very briefly, I'm not going to bang on about it, but I just want to tell you what I'm trying to plan. Dave Chappelle, one of the biggest comedians on the planet at the moment. We're talking about $50 million for a series. Oh, yeah, it's huge. He's done another of his Netflix specials. This one's called The Closer, and they're the Twitterati and the woke left and the liberal elite, and everybody's going raving mad. It's really fascinating that it's only the transgender community and the I'm going to call it the gay community, because I literally can't keep up with all the initials. The Jewish community haven't said anything about his 2 Jewish gags at all. Just let it slide. It's okay. It's part of his act. I don't think anyone took great offense, but there's huge stuff going on. What I'm going to do is I'm going to reach out. We'll see. Richard Pryor I'm very friendly with his daughter, who lives in America, in Baltimore. I'm going to reach out to Rain, that's her name, and I'm going to do a pre-record because of the time difference with, I hope, if she agrees, with Rain Pride, because I really want to see where we are with language, with humor, how it's affecting our mental health, how a comedy show can cause such uproar and just cause such, furore. And I thought no one better than Richard Pryor's daughter, who herself is an actress and a stand-up as well. And I'll see if I actually can get her brother, Richard Pryor Jr., on. That'd be quite fun as well. Anyway, there we are. That's what popped into my head this morning as I was wandering around having my coffee. I thought that's what we're going to do, try and discuss this whole, not because of Dave Chappelle, but just where we're at. What do you think, Phil?
I'd say sounds like a plan to me.
No, but do you think that's interesting? Do you think people would find that interesting?
Well, no,
or
I
they
think
really don't care. Or do you think our audience, in all seriousness, they just think, I don't give a monkeys about everyone getting upset about language. It's, we're all over 21. Shut up and grow up and get on with it, and that's it.
Well, look, I would suggest that there's no better position to be in than someone who is actually in the center of that world, where the offense is aimed at, shall we say, to be able to talk about it and say accordingly whether or not we're going a little too far. Well, not that we don't already know the answer to that.
We are
but
going too far. It's way too far. It's a simple rule. You got Roy Chubby Brown being banned by councils. Who the hell voted for these people to be the arbiter of taste? We don't know. But Roy Chubby Brown, not my cup of tea. I would have him on the show, and I would say to him, Royston, it's not for me, but you're hugely popular. You've been very successful for 40 plus years. People love your show. They're entitled to go and see it, and it's your choice. If they need to get offended, don't buy a ticket. He's not on TV. He's not on radio. You won't be able to find him anywhere. You have to go, get off your backside, buy a ticket, and go to a theatre, which are sold out, by the way. So it's easy. No need to be offended. Don't go. End of. Simple stuff. It's like when people jumping up and down, they don't like this TV shit. Don't watch it. Don't watch it.
The most obvious solution, but anyway.
But it's not rocket salad, is it? You don't like something. Switch over. You've got 500 other channels to choose from, for God's sake. Oh, hey, here's an idea. Go for a walk, read a book, listen to an audio book. There are other things to do. Definitely something needs discussing. We've gone way too far. Thanks, Melanie. That's my view. I don't know if we're pushing against the tide. It's something Phil and I discuss, when we're together often. Are we pushing against the time? And Phil, although it's the horrible saying, an old head on young shoulders, at 35 is very different from my perspective. But I look at it and I think this is madness. This is madness.
But it is. There's literally no other way to describe it.
I think it's global madness.
But we're so obsessed with the wrong things. It's just driving me absolutely round. If you think about sort of this ghastly business with what happened with Sir David Amos on Friday, right? And people are worrying about whether or not the word spooky is offensive. Hello? That's the least of the problems at the moment. The absolute least of the problems.
I've been waiting for he was mentally ill, the usual crap that they roll out with these.
I think that needs to be totally and utterly taken out of consideration. All we hear, and I'm speaking as someone who is broadcasting on a station which looks at mental health, and I couldn't mean this more. We are advocating quite rightly that people who are in a position where they have issues surrounding mental health get treated exactly the same as everybody else. But that is a two-way street. If you carry out a criminal offense, then frankly, mental health or no mental health problem, they should be treated the same. Because otherwise it's one rule for one for the other, and it is just not.
Well, that's how it works, isn't it? But free speech seems to be for people who, oh, you don't agree with me? Well, you can't say that. Well, hang on, what about free speech? Yeah, but you're not agreeing with me. The statement given out by the family of Sir David Amos was absolutely right. Basically, we all need to be nicer, less nasty. Phil, I hope you and the family will be okay if you've had bad news. What happened to Sir David Amos was, there's no need to even say it. It was absolutely tragedy. It's appalling. This is the UK. We do not go into an MP's surgery, a man who was a fantastic man by all accounts, and stab him 12 times. That is premeditated.
Oh, my
That is
side just
absolutely.
went out
And
there.
of course, what
He
a
was-
big surprise! What a huge surprise! He was also known to the police. Well, of
Yeah.
course,
It was
what a
5 years ago. 5 years ago, what happened to Joe Cox, and even then, we were being told never again. Yeah, really? Thanks. That lasted long. Anyway,
Except we've got 30 seconds. The difference between what happened to her, the reaction is very, very telling. And it shouldn't have happened to anybody.
it really shouldn't. Anyway, well, we'll be back on Wednesday from midday if you will tolerate us. Thank you very much indeed for your company. Thank you very much to Dr. Ella as well for her contribution. We'll see you Wednesday at midday. Bye bye.